Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to talk about some of the biggest positives from the 2021 season that we should really talk about, because I feel like last year, I know that we only had 4 wins, and overall, it was not a good season for the New York Jets, but there are definitely some glimpses of positive stuff that I want to bring up in this video that we should hold on for going into year number 2 with the system of Robert Saleh and LaFleur, and year 2 of Zach Wilson, and all that stuff. So I really want to break down my biggest positives from last year's season for the New York Jets. Before I hop into it, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and if you want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at NYJets_media. And of course, please don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoy, so we get as many Jets fans in here to give their opinions down below in the comments. So let's get right into the video without further ado. So the first positive I want to talk about that I was very impressed with in last year's season is offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. I feel like Mike LaFleur should be talked about as a very good upcoming offensive coordinator in the entire NFL. Obviously, the beginning of the season, it was the polar opposite. Every single Jets fan was questioning Mike LaFleur. The offense was not clicking at all. We had a rookie quarterback just not in sync with anything. The offensive line was a mess. The wide receivers were not in sync with the quarterback. Everything just seemed to be not good, to be honest. And a lot of Jets fans are scratching their heads. They're thinking, like, maybe Mike LaFleur is not ready for this because he is a young 34, 35-year-old rookie offensive coordinator. And then all of a sudden, Zach Wilson gets injured. Mike LaFleur goes into the booth, as we all know. And then Mike LaFleur turns into an absolute god at the offensive coordinator position. All of a sudden, just in terms of his, creativity, he just becomes an entire different coach when he entered the booth. And if you guys know, the original plan was Mike LaFleur to be in the booth from week number 1. But the unfortunate reality was the unfortunate pass from Greg Knapp that forced the coaching staff to make it feel like, okay, Mike LaFleur, he can't be in the booth, because if Mike LaFleur is in the booth, then Zach Wilson does not really have anybody on the sideline to coach him up, and that was supposed to be Greg Knapp's role. So then with the passing of Greg Knapp, Mike LaFleur had to go onto the sideline and be the offensive coordinator, and everything was not doing good, as we all know. And then he goes into the booth. They hire Kavanaugh at the time, and Matt Kavanaugh becomes an offensive assistant, so now there's a coach on the sideline. They also hire John Beck to be the guy for Zach Wilson, and then LaFleur goes into the booth where he's most comfortable, and all of a sudden we see a completely different offensive coordinator, somebody that creates trick plays, somebody that is very aggressive on third down, someone that is just, it feels like he's ahead of the game in a way, and it feels like it's a system that the New York Jets are running that is only going to get better and better as seasons go on, in terms of everybody developing within the system. Guys like Zach Wilson going into year number 2, even Michael Carter, even Elijah Moore, even the offensive line. We got Benton as the offensive line coach, who did a phenomenal job in year number 1 for the New York Jets. So the first positive is definitely the offensive coaching staff as a whole, but of course Mike LaFleur, because at the end of the season, man, I really felt like this was one of the best offensive plays that I've seen as a Jets fan in a long time. It's not stale, it's not predictable, it's something that I feel like is going to get better and better, which is why I'm bringing it up as a positive. I would not be shocked if Mike LaFleur 2 or 3 years from now is looked at as, a hot offensive coordinator, even potential head coach candidate. And yes, I might be getting a little overboard. There are a lot of things has to go our way before Mike LaFleur gets any type of head coach gig. That means the Jets offense has to be exploding. But what I'm trying to say is he has the tools, and he has the creativity, and he has the intelligence in order to run an offense. I think he showed that at the end of the season, and I feel like he's only going to get better with time. And we also see the offense that he's running is super successful all around the NFL. We see it with the 49ers, obviously, the Rams, even the Bengals run the same variant of the offense. I mean, this is one of the most successful systems in the NFL, and LaFleur has his own little variant to it, and I feel like he's only going to get better, and that's definitely a big positive I took away, because if we had a mess at the offensive coordinator position, then going into year number 2, I would feel really not that good about Zach Wilson and the offense as a whole. But what he showed when he went to the booth, and he had Mike White, and he had Joe Flacco, and Josh Johnson execute a high level, and then for Zach Wilson to come back after injury, and for him to finish the way he did with Mike LaFleur, even without all the top receivers around Zach Wilson, like Elijah Moore and Corey Davis, and all the running backs were not even healthy. So for the offense to still click, and he was also scheming guys open. I mean, the amount of times that I saw LaFleur at the back end of that season scheming people open to the point where Zach Wilson does not really have to worry about anything, and it just felt like he was benefiting Zach Wilson the most as a rookie at the end of the season, just in terms of making making sure that there's not too much pressure on Zach Wilson. He gets rid of the ball quickly. There's people wide open where he doesn't have to worry and scan anything. And I feel like I said over and over again, the future is bright for Mike LaFleur as an offensive coordinator. That's definitely the first positive I wanted to take away because I was very impressed with his first season for the New York Jets as an offensive coordinator. Now, the next positive I want to talk about, let's flip over to the opposite side of the ball, and we're going to talk about the young secondary. Now, this was probably one of the biggest surprises of last year, which is obviously comes with a positive. Going into the season, if we remember, my expectations were, the secondary is going to be struggling because it's super young and inexperienced, and the pass rush and the defensive line will be bailing out the secondary because at the time we anticipated to have Carl Lawson healthy and Vinny Curry and all those guys were getting to the quarterback all the time, but all of a sudden, Carl Lawson went down, Vinny Curry went down, and the pass rush is not there to begin the season. So now Bryce Hall is becoming is going into year number 2, and I was expecting a big-time jump for him. That's exactly what he showed. Bryce Hall was second in the entire NFL in cornerbacks in terms of forcing incomplete passes. He was just all over the place. Yes, Bryce Hall did not have an interception, but he was locking down his side of the field in the clutch time. If he would get beat, he would go back there and just be an absolute menace in man-to-man coverage. He has sticky coverage. I think the next step for Bryce Hall is being able to be a ball hawk and ripping the ball out of the air and forcing those turnovers, but I feel like that will come in time. I feel like what Bryce Hall showed me last year is he has cornerback 1 potential written all over him, and yes, I genuinely believe that Bryce Hall has potential to even get better and better as his career goes on with the coaching staff that we have on the defensive side of the ball. So Bryce Hall is a big-time bright spot, and then Brandon Echols, the rookie, he was unbelievable for a 6th-round rookie. You cannot ask for a better scenario for Brandon Echols to come in here, a 6th-round pick, picking off the GOAT and Tom Brady, getting a pick 6 on Tua Tagovailoa, and not to mention, people forget about this, but that Cincinnati Bengals game that we won with Mike White, defensively, Brandon Echols and Bryce Hall locked down Jamar Chase. He had 9 targets to 3 receptions for like less than 25 yards, and he did get in the end zone for a touchdown, but that was mostly Brandon Echols on Jamar Chase. I was at that game. I was actually sitting with the Bengals fan, and I was telling him, like, yo, I'm really excited for this matchup of Jamar Chase and our young Jets secondary. And, of course, him as a Bengals fan is like, oh, Jamar Chase is going to wreck them. Jamar Chase is going to go for 150 yards on you. And I'm like, nah, bro, sleep on Bryce Hall and Brandon Echols. I'm sure they're going to make it, a long day for Jamar Chase. And that's exactly what happened. And I was really excited to watch Bryce Hall and Brandon Echols both switch around and guard Jamar Chase. And that shows you that they have the potential to be able to match up against the top-tier talent in the NFL. Now, is Brandon Echols the long-term CB2 spot? I don't think so. I think he has a chance to, go into training camp and win that job because obviously we're going to go in the offseason and, either sign a cornerback or draft another cornerback to be alongside Bryce Hall. But Brandon Echols is a big-time positive that I wanted to bring up. And then you got to bring up Michael Carter II, another rookie who is going to be the starting nickel for the Jets for the long term. I mean, that's why this Jets secondary is a big positive because nobody expected them to play the way they've been playing last year. And just imagine what they're going to do in year number 2 with the system of Robert Saleh and Ulbrich, because I really genuinely believe that this secondary, this future is super bright, and that is awesome because we're only going to add more talent, and that you got to give a lot of credit to the coaches because they deserve the credit of developing these young kids and putting them in the right situation to succeed, because not everybody can draft a cornerback in the 5th round and the 6th round, plug them in as rookies, and play it the way they did as rookies. So shout out to Michael Carter II, Bryce Hall, and Brandon Echols. Those 3 guys, the young secondary, is a big-time positive for the New York Jets. Now flipping it to the other side of the ball for the next positive, that's the offensive rookies. And I'm not talking about the offense as a whole. I'm just going to focus on the 4 offensive rookies from last year in Zach Wilson, in Alijah Vera-Tucker, in Elijah Moore, and Michael Carter. Now, starting off with Zach Wilson, he's going to be his own positive of his own just because of the back end of the season, which is why I really want to break down in a future video about what really Jets fans should look out for in year number 2 for Zach Wilson, what he needs to work on in terms of make that next jump and how to work on his mistakes that he did as a rookie and what he want to see from him as a sophomore. But obviously, we all know what Zach Wilson brought to the table last year in terms of his rookie season. Struggled early on, did not look like a good quarterback at all, looked like the game was too big for him, everything was moving too fast, nothing was really clicking for him offensively at all, and then he gets injured, he comes back, and he looks like a completely different quarterback, way more, composed, calm, confident, in rhythm, and that was a really good sign for Zach Wilson, and let's hope that he can take that next step in year number 2. And then Alijah Vera-Tucker, I mean, he has all-pro potential written all over him. He's probably the biggest positive out of all the rookies in my eyes because Joe Douglas went out there, traded up to get him, and he is going to be a starter on that offensive line for the future. He's a franchise left guard. He does everything you would want at a left guard position. He's athletic. He could be really good, dominant in the run game. He still has some things to work on as a pass protector, but he's only going to get better and better. He has the will to be great. He has a great mentality, and Elijah Vera Tucker, we all know that he's an absolute stud. And then now getting into Elijah Moore. I mean, Elijah Moore has star potential written all over him. I think the only thing that's going to hold back Elijah Moore is injury concerns. Obviously, he went into training camp, he was lighting it up, and we were so excited to see him in the preseason, and then he ruptures his quad. Well, he didn't rupture it, but he tweaked his quad. He was out for the entire preseason. He was ready to go by week 1, and his slow start to his rookie season with the New York Jets, but the entire offense had a slow start. That's why I never really buy stock into specific players having slow starts into last season, because the offense as a whole was just not clicking. Nobody was playing good football in those first 3 weeks, because in week number 4, week number 5 was that Titans game. But Elijah Moore, if we look at that sample size, that 5-week span, he was on pace to have one of the best seasons as a Jets receiver in a long time if you stretch those 5 games out to a 17-long season. And now the only thing that's going to determine if that's going to happen or not is obviously his health. Now, if Elijah Moore stays healthy, I think that he can be one of the top receivers, young receivers in the NFL for these reasons. His route running is next level. His ability to create separation, his ability to feel where his cornerback is or his defender is and bait him into, making the wrong step and cutting and just absolutely creating like 2 or 3 yards of separation is absolutely phenomenal for a rookie last year. He showed glimpses of it. That long touchdown against the Miami Dolphins where he just absolutely destroyed Xavier Howard, I believe it was, and then Joe Flacco put the ball on the money for him to go for like a 60-yard touchdown. I mean, these are the type of explosive plays that the Jets offense needs desperately, and Elijah Moore has all the tools you want in a receiver in the modern day NFL. He's someone that can take the ball out of the backfield. He can do a sweep end around, the screen passes, the yards after the catch, the route running. I mean, I just feel like he has everything, every tool you want in an NFL receiver right now besides size, but that's not a bad thing because there's a lot of successful small receivers in this NFL league right now, and he's a gadget-style receiver, and I really believe that he has star potential written all over him. The only thing that's going to hold him back is injuries, and let's hope that he does not get any injured, because if you remember last year, like I said, he tweaked his quad before training camp, got healthy, and then at the end of the season when he was getting hot, he tweaked his quad again, which ended his season. So he did not play an entire season long, but if you look at those 5 games, he was dominating. He was just getting all the targets. He was catching everything else thrown his way. He was creating separation. He was getting in the end zone. He was doing everything you would expect from a rookie receiver in the second round that we all had. Because remember the hype of Elijah Moore last year in the training camp going into the season, and then he finally showed it. So it was great to see that. Big time positive from Elijah Moore. Now getting into the other offensive rookie, I mean, Michael Carter, he has star potential written all over him as well. If there's one rookie in this draft class that I'm the most confident in being like the face of the team in terms of personality wise and just being the guy that really just represents the New York Jets, it's Michael Carter for a lot of reasons. He was a steal in the 4th round, we all know that, but as a rookie, what he showed on the field, his ability to stay upright, his balance is impeccable, his ability to stay upright and break tackles. He can do pretty much everything as a running back in this system. It just fits him beautifully. Catch the ball out of the backfield, making people miss. It feels like every time a defender tried to bring him down on the first attempt, he would escape. He would pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards. Whenever they gave him the ball and there was like 4 defenders in his face behind the line of scrimmage, you feel like it's going to be a negative yards, he somehow gets back to the line of scrimmage. I mean, as a rookie, Michael Carter did everything you would want from a 4th round rookie in terms of becoming a steal of the draft, and that's just his production on the field. If you talk about his off the field presence, his leadership ability as a rookie really stood out to me personally, which is why I feel like he could be the face of this team in terms of like the personality wise in the media, being that guy that's on the talk shows. You saw him on Good Morning Football earlier this week, on Super Bowl week actually. You hear him being interviewed in all these podcasts, and he has such a good head on his shoulders, and you hear him hype up Michael Carter II during the season when he was just hyping up his rookie, and he was telling him how he could be the greatest if he puts his mind to it. I just feel like Michael Carter has a presence to him that's different. His mentality's different. He has a passion for this game. He believes the Jets are going to turn this thing around, and I feel like his mentality and his approach to the game is really going to take him far in this league, which is why I feel like he has potential to be the face of this New York Jets team for the future, just in terms of his personality and, of course, his play on the field, and the Jets definitely got a steal in Michael Carter. So the offensive rookies is a big positive. You can say positive things about all 4, but we all know the big X factor for the offensive rookies in the entire 21 draft class as a whole is Zach Wilson. Is he going to turn out to be the franchise quarterback for the future or not? That we'll see. Now the next one I want to talk about, which is awesome, and this is actually the last positive I want to break down, is the New York Jets beating the Cincinnati Bengals, beating the Tennessee Titans, and just barely almost beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. Now listen, I know we only have 4 wins, and you're going to be like, Richie, why are you talking about this? But what this showed last year is that the Jets have the ability to win football games against good teams. The Cincinnati Bengals went to the Super Bowl. The Tennessee Titans were the #1 seed even without Derrick Henry for the entire season, and we had to verse them without Derrick Henry. And yes, I know they did not have A.J. Brown or Julio Jones that game, but that game was a phenomenal game for the New York Jets earlier in the season, making a statement that we actually have the coaching ability to compete against top-tier teams in the NFL. So obviously, we did not beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but if you rewatch that game, man, we really should have. There's a lot of things that did not go our way at the end. Tom Brady just scorches down the field and gets that game-winning touchdown. We were literally 1 yard away from beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was that crazy play where Zach Wilson should have handed it off to Braxton Berrios on the end around, but he did a quarterback sneak instead, and we all know what happened there. But for the Jets to be competitive against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers late in December, where every game matters for a team like them, and for them to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, for them to beat the Tennessee Titans, I feel like that speaks volume to the culture that the Jets are trying to develop here, that they're able to do that. And not only did we beat them, but we beat all the teams we're supposed to beat last year. We beat the Houston Texans. You're supposed to beat a team that's worse than you. That's a really big step of becoming a really good franchise. And we also beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, is it like we should be popping champagne that we beat the Texans, that we beat the Jaguars? No, but if you verse teams that you know that you're better than, you got to be able to beat them. And obviously, there was other teams that we feel like we could have beat last year. Like earlier in the season, we could at least be competitive in the AFC East. That's definitely not a positive. We were 0-6. There's no sugarcoating that. But what I'm trying to say is it was a good sign that the Jets showed the ability to compete against top-tier teams in the NFL, because going into the season, the schedule is going to be tougher, and we're going to have to be going up against really high-flying teams, especially in the AFC. It's stacked. So hopefully they can go into games where the underdogs and get some upsets next year. And I really love that the New York Jets, as a young football team with a young rookie, a young offensive coordinator, a young rookie head coach, were able to beat top-tier teams that nobody expected us to do against the Bengals, against the Titans, and just barely beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So guys, that's my video about the positives from 2021. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to break it down and try to be realistic about what I took away from the 2021 season the most in terms of positive stuff that Jets fans should really hold on to and expect to be a big-time jump in year number 2. If you want to recap it real quick, Mike LaFleur is a big-time positive in my eyes. The young secondary, the offensive rookies, winning against top-tier teams. I really feel like these 4 things Jets fans should think about in going into year number 2 with this entire coaching staff and, of course, the rookies. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to like it. I really greatly appreciate that. And comment down below your thoughts about the video and any other positives that I did not bring up. And also, if you guys want to comment down below a jet emoji if you stayed until the end, I would love to see who stayed until the end of the video, because I know it's a longer video, but hey, I love making these, and I hope you guys are enjoying this Jets content, because the offseason has been a lot of fun covering all this stuff. So guys, I appreciate all the support and love, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Let's go Jets. Peace.